Hey Avish, how are you?
I said, good to see you again.
Yeah, man. How are you feeling? You feeling a bit better? Because I know yesterday you were not yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long week, work-wise, and yeah, it's just been a hectic week.
Yeah, I can see that. And let's just do the post-mortem of SA versus Pakistan. Pakistan won the series 3-1. I did predict it, but I know that you had high hopes. So let's just get your quick analysis of it.
Okay, going to the series, yeah, I'd say essentially Pakistan were playing a B side, Protea B side. Let's be honest there, especially in the bowling front, very inexperienced. However, there were some really poor selections, I would say, especially in the last game when I can't understand Boucher's and the selectors thinking there, to be honest, as a head coach. Uh, you go into a must-win game with four batsmen and you pump your team up with all-rounders. And
Hmm.
I think in a way you actually putting them into a deep end there and asking them to perform like guys like Linda and Petluquayo, and then you got Builder into the setup as well. So, I mean, Petluquayo really hasn't really proved it with a bat as much in T20. So I think, letting him bat so high up the order is really
Hmm.
asking for a bit of trouble because
Yeah.
essentially you're going with four batsmen, your two openers, and your number three and four, which barring Rassi, he came back into the side because he was injured. Klaassen, I think he's been a bit of hit and miss, to be honest with you.
Hmm. Hmm.
I know he's the captain and he's in the side, but uh, you know, it's one thing about. I mean, we can talk about not winning the game and such, but putting
Yeah.
a side out there that he compete better. And I'm still puzzled by the non-selection of a guy like Verena. That
Yeah.
he had innings in the ODI series, and then you didn't show any interest in him in the series. So yeah, I'm not going to say that really hindered the result in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They probably would have lost the series either way. But I think this was a real opportunity wasted where you could have had a look at other players, but you didn't really do that. You just went in with a tried and tested. And I think this question is going to come up in the media later on when Boucher has his press conference with the journalists and stuff. So
Hmm.
yeah, they're going to pose
Hmm.
this question to him, and he's obviously got he's
Hmm.
got to answer it as to why a guy like, I mean, you had four ODI, four T20s essentially to experiment, if that's what you want to call it, because I mean, your big guns are playing in the IPL, so they're only going to be up for selection after the tournament's done and dusted. So we understand that part, but there were certain players that I mean that were not looked at in the series. I mean, let's be honest. And even in the bowling front, a guy like Pretorius, Miguel Pretorius, I mean, he wasn't even
Hmm.
looked at in the series. But
Yeah.
yeah, some really puzzling selections as well, especially in the last game. I mean, it's crazy to go in with four specialist batsmen for a
Yeah.
for a side. Um, even though they lost the series, I still think this side had enough to actually draw the series and make it 2-all. And I don't know if people would agree with me, but 2-2 wouldn't have been a bad result at all. You'd have taken 2-2,
Yeah,
barring
I
a.
would have been, and I know you'll
I would.
disagree with me, but I would have been really in shock if it had been 2-all because I know you said Pakistan bowling attack was a B attack, but I think most of the bowling attack was pretty much from the ODIs, eh? So I don't think their bowling
No,
attack
no.
was actually an A bowling attack.
I'm not really talking about the Pakistan attack. I was talking about the Protea attack. The
Oh, no,
Pakistan attack was
no,
probably
no, because you said Pakistan
much more
B side.
settled.
That's why I'm a bit confused. Yeah, you because you said Pakistan B attack. I got a bit confused. You mentioned you said Pakistan near full strength side versus our B to D side. Because no
Yeah, yeah.
offense to our T20 side, it's really not the best.
Pakistan were,
And that's
you see,
and that's me
Pakistan
putting
were
it
facing.
politely.
What I was trying to say is Pakistan were facing a B attack. from the Proteas,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
However, looking at the series as a whole, I still feel, especially in the batting front, they still had enough to actually make it 2-2 in the series because the bowlers pulled it back a bit yesterday. But unfortunately, they didn't
Yeah,
have enough
I
runs to
watched the
play with,
highlights.
which is
Yeah,
which is very
but I
strange.
think I think Pakistan self-imploded. I think they self-imploded, meaning that they shouldn't have complicated such a simple chase because they were cruising that, and that's the problem with a team like Pakistan. They complicate the simple, man. Another team would have cruised that yesterday, and that would have been over and done with. And that's why I'm saying if we had our main bowlers that I was telling you on WhatsApp, we would have probably minimum drawn the series or definitely won the series because bowler like Rabada, Nortje, then you have your Miller's back, and then you have hopefully ABD back. Faf, I'm not too fancy, not too much of a
Well,
fan of him in team 20. Pardon?
is conversation for the next day, but maybe we can
Yeah, of
talk
course.
about it towards the end. But what I'm
Yeah,
saying is,
whatever. Yeah.
what I'm saying is essentially, if you're gonna find any weakness in this Pakistan team, it's essentially their middle order. That's a real underbelly for them.
Oh, sorry. What did you say there? I lost your connection there.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, if you're gonna find any weakness in this Pakistan batting in this Pakistan team, it's their middle order. The middle order is the real underbelly there. That's where the real weakness is, that middle order. And it was stark comparison to that third game, which was a run fest, and we all know what happened. What a sensational innings from Baba Azam. But it seems like with Pakistan, if Baba Azam is not going to score runs, if Rizwan is not going to get the runs, I think they're a bit short in that department.
Oh, no,
They're
you
definitely
forgot
a bit
about
short in that
Fakhar.
department.
Even Fakhar was great
Yeah,
yesterday. Even Fakhar was better, yeah. Those three, yeah.
so
Yeah.
essentially, you've got three players that are going to score the bulk of the runs, and if you can get those players out, or if you can put pressure and get early wickets, yeah, you can really trouble this Pakistan team. And yeah, obviously
Yeah.
the third was very bizarre, to be honest with you. It was very bizarre. I mean, it was a batting wicket that it was one of the best batting wickets that I've seen in this country for a long time. The ball just came on, and if you look at yesterday's wicket, which was probably not the easiest wicket to bat on, there was something in it, but as you say, Pakistan complicated things. I mean, the SA had no right to get that close in the end. But I still think there was poor selections from Boucher, especially with that batting lineup. You're supposed to have also that batting lineup. If you want to go in with those same bowling attack, it's fine, fair enough. But at least get 200 on the board, dude. I mean, get 200 runs on the board to make a game of it. And I think 200 yesterday, if SA got 200, I'm not saying Baba Azam would have scored another blinder, but I think we would have had enough in the bowling lineup to get over the line. So, I think the consistency. I think the consistency has been a bit troubling because if you look at the Gulfing performances, I mean, there was one game where they really played well, and then there was one game that they really, they were really outplayed. So I think that the Gulfing performance is a bit of a concern in the series. But if you're talking about players that actually came out, you're looking for a diamond in the rough, from the series, try to pick out maybe 2 or 3 players that can actually force their way into this team. I think a guy like Williams, I think he bowled superbly in the series, and the amount of wickets that he took, and he showed something that I think that's needed in this lineup going forward, is that bit of aggression as well, from a bowler. And I just see a comment here. Boucher says door open for AB at T20 World Cup. Yeah, we understand that. Now, getting back to Boucher's situation as a coach, it's not looking good, eh? It's not looking good because if you look at the past 16 T20s, he's lost 12 of those. So if you're talking about a slump, the slump hasn't been something that's taken place, just recently. It's something that's been going on for a while now with Boucher, at the helm. And I know you can talk about I know you can talk about him not having his best side all the time. Fair enough. Fair enough. We can talk about it in this series. But essentially, if you're looking at the T20 World Cup, which is at just about 5 months away, you got to get you got to get running now. You know, you got to get running. I mean, once the IPL is over, there will be a few series. They planned a series against the West Indies, and then you've got Idle, and then you've got 2 series in Asia against Sri Lanka and India. Essentially, that is a dress rehearsal for the World Cup. So I think
you got to get the best side playing those matches.
Yeah, I think you've got to stop this bullshit now of experimenting as such. Hi, did you get me there?
Yeah, I was just gonna. Yeah,
I think this bullshit of experimenting has got to come to an end at some point. You've got to start playing your best side. I think this next 4 series is probably going to make or break Boucher in a way, because these 4 series are essentially going to get his World Cup 11. You know, to me, there's still question marks on a number of players. A guy like Petlu Kwayo, I mean, what really is he in the team for? I mean, what can he offer going forward? Because if you're going to look at that all-rounders position, I think a guy like Pretorius is also going to be challenging him for that spot. And how many all-rounders do you want to play in the side? You know, because I mean, essentially now you've got the West Indies away, you've got Idle in away. I don't think those wickets are going to be like 200 plus wickets. I mean, you're going to see some low scores on those wickets. So those are going to be testing for the Proteas as well. So essentially, you got to play your best side, and then those 2 series in Sri Lanka and India. I mean, by the time you get to that India series, I think you probably got to know what your best team is like going into that World Cup. And talking about AB now, I mean, I heard Boucher in a press conference a couple of days ago saying that he spoke to AB prior to the IPL, and he was going to have a conversation with him, towards the end. So maybe that door is not shut, and you know what? Potentially, maybe we need AB in the side if we are really going to, make a challenge in this World Cup. I don't think the door is shut on Faf as well, because I think the one thing about Faf, and if you look at him, he's got so much experience in India, which is going to be invaluable. And he's one of those guys that's very rusty. So, if he's not going to get bought, he's going to keep that scoreboard ticking. So, I don't think a guy like Faf can be, excluded from the side as well. And in terms of the bowling, the bowling has been a concern. So, Tahir, I mean, I don't think the door is shut on Tahir as well. If you can have Tahir
retired from T20s. I don't think he's retired from T20s. I think he's still open there.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are the sort of players you've got to look into. So I mean, as I say, this series was a shame because you didn't get a chance to see Verreynne, and I think Verreynne is probably one of the most talented youngsters in this country, if not the most talented youngster in this country at the moment. So I don't understand what he meant by Verreynne being the second choice wicketkeeper in the side ahead of Klaasen. Essentially, now you've got to make a decision with Klaasen and Verreynne. You want to in the side. To be honest with you, you've got to put Verreynne on that plane to the World Cup. But he needs a bit of game time prior to that. But looking at him, he's a natural talent. So. If you put him in a series, he's definitely going to perform for you. So I think he's got to cut down his squad now, and look at the players that essentially are going to be in that World Cup starting 11. So to me, if Verreynne is not in that lineup, this is going to be really, really puzzling for me and a lot of fans out there, because you are missing one of the most talented youngsters in this country at the moment.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want him to leave us like KP did. So you got to try
and hold on. let me get to that AB thing. If you're going to bring AB back in the side, and wow, if you don't really do well in this World Cup, I mean, like, at least get to a semi-final or a final. Wow,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
going to
I'm
be
sure. I'm sure
really
if
going to
AB
be.
plays for us, there are possibilities of us making the semi-final
There's
minimum if he plays for us. Yeah.
because I think essentially at the moment, you're talking about the favorite stack. I'm not sure at the moment, but I think at least what teams are looking at, and at least what can keep Boucher in his job is probably a semi-final. But anything above that is probably going to be a bonus. But essentially, if you're bringing AB back, I mean, your best player
Yeah.
that's been your player for many, many years. So I think, if anything, you want to go out and win this tournament as well, bringing a guy like AB back. So if they're not going to have a good tournament, wow, I think knives are going to be thrown at Boucher here, and
Yeah.
he could see himself out of this position as coach, because at the
Yeah.
moment he's not cutting it. So he's got 4 series to get it right. He's got 4 series to get it right. So this is going to be a real, as I say, dress rehearsal for him and the team. And yeah, by the time you get to that India series, you got to have an idea of who your starting 11 is for that World Cup, and essentially your team.
Yeah. Before we, I've just noticed here that Fahim Ashraf was the man of the match, and then Babar was the man of the series. I think both deserved. I think just to, yeah, just to give a little recognition to Pakistan. I think as much as you could say, many people will say that Pakistan were kind of given a head start due to our squad, but I think you still got to execute. So I think these names were the rightful recognitions for the man of the player of the match and player of the series. If you get what I'm
You know
saying.
what? We can't take anything away from Pakistan, right? I mean,
Yeah, of course.
we were awesome in the series. Let's be honest. Yeah, we can talk about an understated Protea side, fair enough. And I think if they didn't win the series, they'd be really, really disappointed as well. But
Yeah,
yeah, they did, especially Baba. I mean, Baba is he's in the form of his life at the moment.
yeah,
In the ball, and yeah, he's part of that five that we talk about all the time in world cricket. So yeah, but essentially, come World Cup time, it's going to be totally different, and the
definitely.
pressure on everyone,
Yeah. Yeah, and I
every team.
think, and I said yesterday on WhatsApp that Pakistan are generally a tournament team. They seem to thrive on tournaments. That's why I think that it'll be interesting to see how they perform, because we've always seen Pakistan generally perform well in tournaments. Very rarely do they not perform. I mean, I think in the 2019 English World Cup, I think net run rate ruined them. I think that match against West Indies messed them up. So I think, who knows? It would have been fun to have seen. But anyway, that's history. I think I did promise you on WhatsApp I'd give you my solution, our transformation on the right track. Do you want to still hear my solution?
Is a big talking point. Yeah, I say transformation is always a big talking point, but uh, transformation is what it is. I mean, I have no issue with transformation. With
Of
transformation,
course, yeah.
basically,
As long as it's on merit, yeah.
essentially, transformation is getting more people of different races to play the game of cricket, and I don't
Yeah,
think
that's
that's a
fine.
bad thing at all.
Of course,
Because
of course.
I mean,
As long as it's on merit, yeah.
essentially, yeah, of course. To be honest with you, transformation has nothing to do with merit. Merit obviously comes thereafter, but transformation is getting more people, getting more kids involved in the game of cricket, which I think is essential. Because
Of course,
if the Proteas want to be a force in the world game for a long time to come, essentially majority of the country has to be playing the game of cricket. And
yeah.
if I look at it at the moment, I don't think majority of the country is playing the game of cricket. And if you look
No.
at India, majority of the country is crazy about cricket. I mean, that's why we love them. They bring something. They bring something to the world game. I mean, a world game without India is, just
Yeah,
not.
they bring in most of the revenue, so yeah, we do need
It's
India.
just so essentially, that is what the Proteas, or that is what Cricket South Africa's vision needs to be. I mean, in terms of getting
Yeah.
the majority of the country in the game of cricket. And
Yes.
I think at the moment, the one thing that's really, and I spoke about it as well. It's the one thing that's really hampering them is essentially cricket is a game that requires a lot of equipment, and um, I think in a way, if you can subsidize those prices, in terms of with the manufacturers as well, if you can subsidize the price of cricket kits, essentially it can become affordable, and more kids can get access to these kits. So this is something that you need to look at, because I was listening to an article. I was listening to a conversation yesterday on SA Cricket Fanatics on YouTube, and there was a guest from India, and he's one of the editors for this magazine as well. He writes for this magazine, SA Cricket Fanatics. Aditya Mehta. So he obviously said that he plays cricket part time as well. He plays for a local club, and
Yeah.
in India you can actually get a cricket kit for the equivalent of 1,200 rand in SA, and I'm talking about a full cricket kit here. We're talking pads, we're talking gloves, we're talking bats, we're talking boxes. I mean. Thigh pads. I mean, everything you can think about. And also
Yeah.
running shoes as well. Running shoes in that kit, and we all know how expensive running shoes is. So you're essentially getting everything there for 1,200 rand in terms of the SA currency, which is about 8,000 rupees. So I mean, goodness me, if you can get a kit for 1,200 rand in this country, I think it will be very affordable for a lot of kids to be able to play the game. Because I mean, if you look at the price of cricket bats at the moment, if you go to a sportsman's warehouse store, or if you go to essentially one of these sports stores, I mean, you're looking at around 7 to 8,000 rand for a cricket bat. I mean, a cricket bat, 7 to 8 grand for a cricket bat. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
expensive.
a cricket bat. I mean, a cricket bat. I mean, you get all sorts of sets, but I mean, essentially, if you're going to be playing for a club, you need a good strong bat. So that's the sort of price that you're going to be paying for a cricket bat. And I mean,
Yeah.
you've got companies out there that can actually subsidize those prices and make it more affordable to public. I'm sure you're going to get
Yeah.
a lot more people to play the game of cricket, and a lot more people are going to get involved, because at the moment football is obviously a big rival for country, because essentially football is a game that's a lot less costs a lot less to play.
Yeah.
Cricket at the moment really inexpensive. I mean, all you need is a ball and an open field, and you can have a game.
And shoes. You need a ball and some good running shoes.
You have some boots, as long as you have a ball. I mean, you've got an open field, you can have a game. So yeah, those are the challenges that cricket is facing at the moment. So I would think in time things are going to change. Things are really going to change in this country in terms of majority being able to get access, to cricket equipment, and the game spreading to all routes. And I think when you're talking about transformation starts at grassroots. It doesn't start at the Proteas, because once you get to the Proteas.
But you see, with transformation, I'm having a solution in my head of how we can maximize whatever upcoming talent is happening, because instead of blooding players against certain types of nations, whether it's Australia, India, and all that, we should be inviting these teams such as Ireland, Afghanistan, and all the upcoming nations, so that we can put our upcoming talents against them. Fine, they may not be the best international team, but at least you're getting a taste of international cricket, so that if they can at least perform against them, then you can then build it up. Like, how you can't push someone to the deep end, you start at the shallow end, then the deep end. So start up something like that, so that even if our international cricket is over, but to reward our upcoming domestic cricket, you can invite these nations. Therefore, you're killing two birds with one stone. One, you're making the ICC cricket think you're helping out cricket in general, and two, you're also benefiting upcoming talent. So it's something we can look into. Because I was having this thought in my head that at the moment some teams don't get a lot of matches, like Bangladesh, Zimbabwe, New Zealand. Well, New Zealand is getting more fixtures than before, but then you have SA and then Pakistan. So if you can do a series, whether it's all played in South Africa, I'm thinking of like a test triangular system whereby each team goes against one another once, but they all play in different venues, and then also our upcoming talents will be used for those matches where we are expected to win. We don't have to even field majority of our main players for those lower grade matches with due respect to those teams. You could put like even 40% of our main players in those matches and put the rest of the upcoming players in those kind of fixtures. Only if you play a team like maybe Pakistan, you field maybe 80 to 90% of your main players. I don't know if you agree with my logic.
Look, essentially, I think when you're playing a team like Pakistan, you got to play your best side. Yeah, on any given day, you got to play your best.
Of course. Yeah.
One of the obviously, older nations in they're one of the more established nations, and that's not to say a team like Bangladesh I'll walk over, but I think this series as such has probably come a bit too early for some players. Some players are black, and I think the quality of opposition probably expose their skills set as well. But that happens. But it could be a good thing going forward because it do them a world of good. Coming up in future series. I mean, I can understand where you're coming from in terms of transformation and stuff, but essentially, when it comes to fringe players, they don't really get a lot of game time in national teams, because generally the national team is generally a side that's probably with first team players. So that could be a good idea, but generally it's not something that really happens. But if you want to talk about transformation, I would say do more A tours. The SAA team has got to do more A tours. I'd say to India, to Pakistan, to Sri Lanka, to the West Indies, to Australia, to New Zealand, to England. Build up your A team, tours, and let those youngsters play in different
there's many ways of going around it.
So by the time those players are up for selection in the Protea side, the Protea side. I mean so essentially they would be ready for it, because they played in all these tough conditions and they played against some of the best players in the world. So that could be a way forward. Play as much cricket. Play as much. The A team has got to play as much cricket as possible. Throughout the world, and invite teams to SA. Invite the likes of England A. Invite the likes of Australia A to SA and have a full series. That I think once your A team is strong, I think your national team is going to automatically become strong as well. Because you see it with India as well. I mean, the A team is quite strong at the moment. There's a lot of players that were picked from the team and obviously came into this this Indian side as well. So yeah, I think that's where you breed your talent in the A team. So yeah, it's going to be very, very important for that SAA team to unearth more talent going forward in the future.
Yeah, okay. I think we've said quite a lot on SA versus Pakistan. Let's get down to IPL, if you're okay to proceed on that one.
Let's go for it.
Okay, I think we made our predictions for the Saturday and Sunday fixtures. We both agreed Daredevils to win against Chennai. So what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I expected a Delhi win, but I mean, it was really comfortable in the end, to be honest with you. I think Chennai it was a really off day for Chennai in terms of with the ball, especially. I mean, they were they were really wayward, and I don't think they executed their plans with the ball very well. And Delhi was scoring at a canter, and at one stage I thought Delhi were actually going to win this game by 10 wickets, but they lost a few wickets towards the end. But it's just a comfortable win for Delhi in the end. I think it's as easy a game that you can get to start the tournament running. And to be honest with you, I mean, the score that they were chasing was quite an iffy score, but that pitch actually played better towards the end, and I don't know, maybe dew was a factor as well, but the Chennai bowlers just couldn't get any sort of control with the ball at all, you know.
Yeah, and it's nice to see Shikhar in the runs. I think he's making a strong case for that T20 World Cup. I'm sure he'll find out. I think he'll probably
Oh, of
make the
course,
squad, but
I'd
yeah,
probably make the squad.
but I don't know
Yeah,
if he'll
definitely.
play. But anyway, that's a story for another time. So let's go to the next fixture. Think I probably. Oh yeah, the next one was actually Kolkata versus Sunrisers. This is a match that. Oh, that'd be about my team won this match by 10 runs. Very close match, and Nitish Rana got the man of the match. So, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very impressive batting display from KKR, and I think it's something that they were missing last season as well, getting those runs, up front. And yeah, Rana, I mean, he didn't have the best of seasons last seasons, but I think a lot of work he's been doing in the off season that's helping him a lot. So yeah, he looked really fluent in that innings, and yeah, when you set up a score like that, I think you give your bowlers a chance to actually uh, build some pressure, and that's what KKR did. They built so much of pressure on Sunrisers, especially in the middle overs when they took the crucial wickets out of Bairstow and Warner as well up front. I mean, getting rid of Warner early really helped as well. So I think in a way Sunrisers were always playing catch up in the game, and essentially they fell short in the end.
Yeah, and I know I predicted Sunrisers to win it, so I was happy to be wrong on that one. So I know you predicted KKR, so thanks for that. So now let's go to Punjab and Royals. They played this in Mumbai, and Punjab won this by 4 runs, and Samson was the man of the match. And had said Punjab lost this, I think it would have been a bit hard for them to have proceeded in IPL. So good to get that win, even if it just squeaked through.
But I mean, what an incredible game of cricket. I mean, wow, 200 in 11. And I mean,
I mean, 221. I
essentially
think 221
Rajasthan,
and 217. Yeah, very close.
221. And Rajasthan just fell 4 runs short. Essentially, I think in the end, let's take nothing away from Samson. He played an incredible innings, but I think his ego got to him in the end there. I think his ego got to him in the end there, that he wanted to finish the game off himself, because
Yeah,
I think he
yeah,
turned down a single from Morris, and
yeah.
looking at the way Morris finished off the game, the previous game, I think, wow, this was one that they could have won. I mean, this was a run fist. I mean, an amazing game of cricket, man. 400, essentially 400, almost 440 runs scored. I mean, this was an exhibition of batting from both teams, and wow, I think Rajasthan will be kicking themselves for not getting over the line here, because at one stage they really put themselves in their reckoning for actually winning this game here, and essentially it was just one hit. They were one hit away from winning this game. And it wasn't a good day for the bowlers, hey? From both sides, the bowlers really got taken to the cleaners big time, especially the two debutants for Punjab, the two Aussies, Richardson and Meredith. They went for plenty. So, yeah, incredible game of cricket, man. Incredible game of cricket.
Yeah, so let's get to now Mumbai against my team, which was in Chennai. Mumbai won this by 10 runs, which I was very upset about. My team should have won this, and Chahar got man of the match. I think he did deserve it, but I just feel that, yeah, Mumbai could have been not from 2 games, but it's still early days. Even if Mumbai had lost 2 games, they generally start slow. So, what were your thoughts?
I think KKR should be kicking themselves big time. They should be kicking themselves big time. I mean, bowling out Mumbai for 152, I think was an amazing effort, to be honest with you. And just messing up their chase the way they did was, I think, appalling. I mean, there wasn't a single batsman on. All they needed was a batsman to just go on and play a sensible innings towards the end, and just a few others just chipping in with him. I think the turning point in this game was when Rana got stumped. I think when Rana got stumped, this really, I think KKR just imploded there. And
Yeah.
this was a game that could have, put Mumbai essentially on the back foot. And I think Mumbai actually, if they lost their first two, I don't think it would have been I don't think it would have been a cakewalk for them to actually get to the playoffs. Like previous season, because their batting hasn't been up to scratch in this opening two games. Their batting has not been up to scratch. So I think KKR they just imploded. It was a mental implosion there in the middle overs, and they just missed an opportunity to get one over Mumbai here. And I think Mumbai has had the wood over KKR for a very long time.
Yeah. Too
I
long.
think it was a psychological thing here that they couldn't just break that hoodoo here. And yeah, man, they'd be really, really disappointed. This would be 2 out of 2 because tactically, I mean, at the halfway stage, I think tactically, Mumbai, KKR outplayed Mumbai. But towards the end, I could say the experience of Mumbai actually got them through with the bowlers, It was always not going to be a cakewalk of a chase. We all know that. But I mean, 152, I mean, 9.5 times out of 10, you'd back your team to get that score.
If you play with common sense, you should get that. With common sense, you should have got that.
It was a real, I don't want to say the C word, but it was a bit of a choking. It was a bit of a choking moment. It was a bit of a choking moment for KKR.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I've seen our team choke, so I think I think KKR was taking inspirations from us on how to choke. No offense to South Africa. I know they're my country, but anyway, I don't want to talk about that now. So let's get to the next match where your team did very well against Sunrisers, won by 6 runs. This is also another match which I felt, and with due respect to your team, Sunrisers should have won this match as well. But I'm noticing a pattern here. The teams that are bat first are winning in Chennai. So I think David Warner's captaincy has been really shoddy in this IPL. Sorry to say. I think normally he's a good captain, but this IPL has been shocking, man. And Maxwell was the man of the match. So it's good that he's doing justice to your team.
Finally, Maxwell's getting into those runs, so it's wonderful to see. But yeah, I mean, David Warner, I think he needs to take blame for this defeat, hands down. Because I think while they were chasing that score, I mean, they looked really comfortable. To be honest with you, RCB had no right to win this game. RCB had no right to win this game. I mean, after posting what was a difficult pitch. I mean, let's be honest, it was quite a difficult pitch to bat on, 149. But the way Sunrisers were actually cruising towards this total, and we always say cruising. But I think it's what we've seen in these past 2 games, especially this week here. Whenever a third batsman has gone out, there seems to be a bit of a panic station in both teams. Essentially, KKR and Sunrisers, and we've seen that. And this is another game where Sunrisers absolutely panicked. They were so desperate for the win, Sid. They were so desperate to win the game, and they essentially panicked and they didn't get over the line. So, yeah, another C word. Man. It wasn't a game.
It was just common sense that needed to happen, man.
Absolutely. It was not the game of the highest quality, let's be honest. It was not the game of the highest quality. It was a very ordinary sort of performance, batting performance from Sunrisers, and the quality was just not there. So, yeah, I think they'd be kicking themselves now, dude. And it's going to be a long way back for Sunrisers. Yeah, man, it's going to be a long way back for Sunrisers.
I was telling on WhatsApp, I didn't expect 2 chokes in 2 days, but damn, did it happen. I was very surprised. Yeah. Oh, well, that's how it goes.
I think
so.
The beauty of this IP.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry?
The beauty of this IPL at the moment, showing that there's going to be a lot of low-scoring thrillers. And
speaking of a low-scoring thriller, we have another one which strangely happened in Mumbai, and I don't know if it was this pitch for Mumbai was a bit disappointing in the sense that it wasn't the same usual batsman friendly, which is fine. I guess you're allowed to have a few interesting pitches, which this was. Delhi losing to Rajasthan by 3 wickets, and Jaydev was man of the match. Your thoughts?
Wow, what a chase from Rajasthan. I know you're the man of the match award, but let's not take anything away from Muller here. Killer Muller, I mean, he showed his
Mm,
potential as a hitter in the game, and he dug
yeah,
Rajasthan out of a big hole here. Essentially, he got them out of the dead here. Muller got Rajasthan out of the dead here in this game here, and
yeah,
then Morris came, and just smashed that 4 sixes, and I think Delhi, in a way, are looking a bit shell shocked after this game, to be honest with you, because they looked like they were really, winning
yeah,
this game quite
yeah,
hands down. But didn't expect that onslaught from Muller and Morris at the end. So thumbs up to SA boys getting Rajasthan over the line here, and sure, it was an incredible game to watch, man. Jeez, just edge of your seat stuff, and yeah, yet again another low scoring thriller. And this and finally there was a winning side that was chasing, as opposed to those two mess ups by KKR and Sunrisers. So yeah, fantastic
yeah.
performance from Pakistan in getting over the line. I honestly feel they would have been 2 out of 2 years, 2 out of 2, because I think they should have won that game on Monday as well.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think Rajasthan, they actually playing good cricket. They playing decent cricket. Uh,
yeah,
restricting Delhi to that sort of score. I mean, Delhi's got such a pouring Banning lineup, and
yeah. But the pitch
fair
wasn't
enough.
its usual batsman-friendly nature. But you have to admit that Mumbai pitch wasn't its usual batsman-friendly nature. It was a bit different, which is
Of
okay. I
course, but I
guess you
think
got to have variations. Yeah,
the execution of the Rajasthan bowlers was quite
clever.
you know
Yeah,
uh,
lack of pace and all that. Yeah,
yeah, it was quite fantastic. So yeah, you got to give credit where it's due.
of course.
Yeah, so yeah, fantastic performance.
Okay, so let's get to yesterday's game, again in Mumbai, and another interesting pitch, to put it politely. And Chennai wins this by 6 wickets, and Deepak Chahar was the man of the match. Your thoughts?
Well, I didn't actually get a chance to see this game that much, and I think I just caught a bit of the highlights towards the morning. But yeah, I think a bit of a low key sort of game. Uh,
Sorry, what were you saying?
yeah, I mean, I didn't get a chance to see a lot of this game yesterday. Uh,
Mm,
I did manage to see a bit of the highlights this morning towards the end of the game. Uh,
mm-hmm.
Geez, I thought it was a bit of an ordinary performance from Punjab Kings, especially with the bat. I mean, 106. I mean, you're not giving your bowlers enough to defend, and I think it's
Yeah,
it's 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 going to take a minute to actually defend a score like 106. So yeah, very very ordinary performance from
yeah. Lack of
from
application. Yeah,
lacking intensity, lacking aggression, lacking everything. I mean, essentially, even if they got bowled out for 106, I don't think it would have made any difference, because I mean, you're actually betting your overs out for 106. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it does much to your. It does much for your team's chances of winning the game. I mean, yeah. I mean, CSK. Their bowlers were fantastic in this game. I mean, to take 5 wickets in the power play was amazing. And I just think Punjab actually collapsed there towards the end. And yeah, with their bowling lineup, 106 was never ever going to trouble CSK. So it was like a really comfortable winning game. It was just they actually, the way they got it done was actually too easy in the end, to be honest with you.
yeah. But let's be brutally honest. These last two Mumbai pitches have been kind of similar to Chennai pitches. So I think Chennai prefer these types of surfaces whereby they're not too hectically in favor of the batsman. They're more towards, you could say, more towards the bowlers in a way, because it's just how the game is developed, even with the Rajasthan Royals. So I think if pitches are going to be like this now for Mumbai, which is a bit interesting to put it that
Look,
way, it'll be a bit.
uh, you
Yeah,
know, the one thing, if these couple of games has anything to go by, we're going to see a lot of pressure cookers in the weeks to
yeah,
come, where there's going to be very
yeah,
low scoring affairs. Yeah, it's going to be helter skelter cricket. So
yeah,
essentially, we've got a picture today, which is Mumbai and Sunrisers.
yeah,
And to me,
yeah,
this is a because I know Sunrisers have a very good record in terms of knockouts. Because this year could be a year where everything actually implodes on Sunrisers. Because if they don't win this game today, it's going to be really, 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 really difficult for them to actually, push for a playoff spot. Because if I'm looking at the sides, sorry, the sides are looking much stronger this season. If you agree with me, so there's been a lot more, there's been a lot less that's been, I would say, between the teams, as opposed to yesterday's game, which was a real gulf in class with Punjab Kings and CSK. But I think generally you're going to see a lot of evenly matched games. So, if Sunrisers don't get victory against a formidable opponent like Mumbai, I think they're in for a really, really, they're in for a really, really dire season here in the IPL. Because, as you say, Warner's captaincy has been in real question, and I think the way they've, I think a lot of their shot selection, especially the Sunrisers batting order, has been, very questionable.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah, but it's a bit funny this matchup because I think at Sunrise it's been at 1-1. I would have given this matchup again to Sunrisers because of the venue. But since Sunrisers' performance has been really disappointing and Warner's captaincy has been delightfully pathetic, I'm just giving this just to Mumbai to win it. But I wouldn't be surprised if Sunrisers win it because it's a knockout. They do need to start winning. But I think the only way they'll win is if they bat first. You can't be chasing. Batting against Mumbai's bowling attack. So I think they go to bat first, make 160, and I think Mumbai will have it hard to win it. So I think Sunrisers got to win the toss and bat first. And hopefully Mumbai win the toss and bat first because I think their bowling is outstanding. So that's my quick...
I think I agree with you. I totally agree with you there when you're talking about trying to win the game. Sunrisers' best chance is actually batting first because I think they're quite a good side when it comes to defending scores. So
which makes me more angry why they batted second. David won batted second twice, and he won the toss twice, which makes it more stupid. Sorry, I shouldn't say that word.
I think winning games in terms of chasing is not in their DNA at all. They are bowling side, and we've seen that for quite a few years now. They are a bowling side, so their strength is their bowling. But I think if Sunrisers can score about 170, 180, you've got guys like Rashid and Natarajan that can cause problems. Yeah, that should be their game plan. Batting first 170, 180, and then put pressure on Mumbai. And they got.
They make 160. It's good enough on the pitches. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Dude, I think if Mumbai bat first, essentially this is going to be a really, really difficult game for Sunrisers to actually reel back in.
Yeah, I think David Warner is not following his team's formula: bat first and defend. But anyway, that's how it goes. I think that's how. So. You're predicting who are you predicting for this one for today?
I'm actually predicting a Sunrisers win. I'll tell you why. Because I feel. They probably got a real, spanking the dressing room after these two performances. Okay. I think they're going to come really strong today.
I won't be surprised actually if they do win it. I won't be surprised though if they do win it. Yeah. But I just think Mumbai will squeak it. I just have a feeling they'll squeak it at some point today. So let's get to tomorrow's one, which is my team against your team, and they're playing against Chennai, another interesting venue, to put it politely. And I think if I'm looking at these two teams closely, it's a tough one to call. My heart is saying KKR, but I think your team... Actually, I think I'm going to go with my team on this one, and I'll tell you why. Because I think they'll probably want to make up for that shoddy performance for the second one. So I think they'll be all guns blazing. But your team could also win it because, I don't know. I think my heart is saying KKR, but I think my mind is probably heading towards you. Because you all are very confident about 2 wins out of 2.
Yeah, I mean, RCB, they've done really well in Chennai at the moment. They're really mastering the conditions there. And I think, KKR, their confidence will be a bit low now after that game against Mumbai. That really was a breaker for them. So, yeah, I think this is a chance for RCB to actually cash in here and put a psychological blow to KKR's efforts of getting to the playoffs. So yeah, I'd back RCB to win this one, just based on the previous performances and just the way RCB are actually looking at the bowling lineup. They're looking very impressive in terms of their bowling lineup at the moment. So yeah,
Yeah. Simon Duel, that said something interesting about your team. He said that RCB technically shouldn't have won these two matches because if it wasn't for ABD, you all wouldn't have won. And then the second match was because of our Sunrisers that performed. So he's saying that there's something different about your team this year, and that because they've somehow won the first match out of the blue, there's confidence there. They believe they can probably win out of any situation. So there are good things with happening with your side. Early days, but
honestly, I think there's a bit of a fighting spirit today that you've seen in the last two games from RCB that you haven't seen in season one by. So, yeah, that's really really encouraging. So, yeah, I know they had a wood over KKR last season as well. They really won those two games quite comfortably. So, I think Siraj is going to be a thorn for KKR tomorrow with the ball. So, yeah, man, your team's got your team's really really got their task. They've
I'm
got an
just
uphill task to
yeah. Yeah, on a
and
final note on this, yeah,
AB
sorry.
performed KKR as well. So I'm expecting to play a big one tomorrow.
Yeah, actually, I'm just thinking the only way my team is going to win, which is, you know what's funny about this? Normally, I would always say put RCB to bat first because that's not really their strength. Their strength is to chase. But because the Chennai venue is so hard for the batters, batting second, I would say Kolkata win the toss, bat first, make 160 and above, and then defend it with all their might. And I think that's the only way they'll win. I know ABD did a miraculous, but how many times can you perform like that? So I think that's the only way KKR will win it.
Yeah, look, he's a phenomenal player, but yeah, I think RCB thinking tomorrow will probably get runs on the board. Since it's being a
Hmm.
day game, I think runs on the board, and then let's just put the pressure with the ball later on. So my money is on RCB tomorrow to get one over KKR.
Yeah, I also agree with you mentally, but the heart is saying KKR, so it'll be interesting. So, as usual, it's been fun getting your thoughts and insights, and yeah, we shall catch up again soon.
Yeah, sure. Chat to you soon. Cheers. Take care.
Okay.